All right, so you are considering doing an Airbnb. Well, here is all of the literal crap you are going to have to deal with as a host. These are all from my own experience over the last 4 years of running an Airbnb. I do both a studio apartment and at times have done a 4-bedroom house. Now let's break it down. These are the worst experiences that I've had, or the things that I am most annoyed about by running an Airbnb. And then at the end, I will give you my take on whether or not it is all worth it. I'm actually super curious. So if you do run an Airbnb right now, hit me up in the comment section and tell me your worst experience on Airbnb. So I'm going to be completely blunt and tell you all of the bad things I've had to deal with. But before we jump in, please hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about real estate investing. All right, complaint number 1 is Airbnbs are time consuming. Now that can be working with guests. That can be cleaning if you're doing your own cleaning. It can be the random calls that you get because the internet's down or something like that. It is just time consuming to run an Airbnb. When I say it's time consuming, it is time consuming compared to a long-term rental. So a long-term rental, you can just hand them the key, say pay rent. We'll see you guys later. With an Airbnb, it takes a lot more work. You have to clean. You have to make sure that your apartment's looking nice. You've got to answer calls. You've got to be customer service. There's a lot that goes into running an Airbnb. It is time consuming enough that if you are doing your own cleaning, you kind of have to coordinate your vacation, right? So like if I go on vacation, I have to make sure that someone is here to answer any questions or to help guests, to make sure the apartment's clean. So there's a lot that goes into running an Airbnb. The second annoying thing is reviews, and they're a double-edged sword. So they can be really, really good, but they can also be super, super annoying. So Airbnb actually has a dual review process where you can review guests and guests also review you. So if you have a terrible guest, you can go in and be like, hey, yeah, this person sucked. They were the worst. They smoked in my apartment. They left it a total mess. That way, a host can go and be like, oh, I don't want to rent to that person because they have consistently just wrecked people's houses. But they can also go and review you. Now, obviously with search engine optimization, to get your listing to land higher on Airbnb's site, you want to have good reviews. And so they actually have a thing called a superhost, and you have to have a certain amount of 5-star reviews or above a certain level of reviews. And that's going to make it so that you pop up quicker. Now, you're going to want to get bookings, so you want to get really, really good reviews. There's just people, no matter what you do, it could be complete 5-star service. You could do an amazing job. You could have a clean apartment. They will just find something wrong. And they will find it and they'll latch onto it and they will give you a 3-star review. Even though everything else was great, they're just going to give a 3-star review because they can. Which really sucks because when you have a 3-star review, it just drags your average review down and it can force you lower on the search results, leading to less bookings. So sometimes reviews just suck. And I guess it's more people than reviews. Everything is dependent on that. So if you get one bad review, it can just pull you down. Complaint number 3 is that sometimes people can just be annoying. And I say this as like a very genuine people person. Like I love to talk to people. It's very, very rare that I find anybody that I don't have something in common with. So I'm happy to just chat and I feel like I'm pretty easygoing. But every once in a while, like it's just rough. Like sometimes people just are in a bad mood and there's nothing you can do about it. So here are some legit complaints that I have received from people. You have a smart TV and I wish you didn't. The cable's not working. This chair is made out of iron, which I mean like, yeah, a folding chair in a small studio apartment. That's what it's made out of. You didn't have a dining room table, which my listing is literally like a studio apartment. It is tiny, it has a little kitchenette. It was an office that I converted into an Airbnb, but somehow somebody who booked a studio apartment was mad that there's not a dining room table. Can you get me a recliner? So yeah, we found a way to get a recliner in there. It's just crazy. Like there's every once in a while, it's just like, you've just got some crazy requests or complaints. Now I will say this is probably a small minority, but it still happens and you're gonna have to deal with it. All right, complaint number 4, and this one is a doozy. It doesn't happen very often. We've been in it for 4 years and we have had only 2 guests like this, but every once in a while you get a guest that is just horrendous. So the first really bad guest that we have a no smoking policy in our Airbnb, and this guest brought friends to our Airbnb, and their friends straight up like chain smoked in our studio apartment. And it's just insanely smoky. Like, we go through a separate entrance in a shop to get to our Airbnb, and like the smoke had like gone all the way into the shop. So as soon as my wife opened up the door, it was like cigarette smoke like slapped her in the face. Like, it was insane. And so we had to go and talk to him and be like, hey, you cannot smoke. Like, we have a strict no smoking policy. But they just smoked a whole bunch of cigarettes in that apartment. And so we asked him to leave. And then my wife and my in-laws proceeded to have the entire day just taken on cleaning and trying to get all of the smoke smell out that they can. We actually went to a local car dealership like a friend of ours runs, and they had an ozone machine that they put in cars, and it'll suck all of the scents out of a car, and it just like circulates. And so we actually put that in there and ran it all day to try and pull the smoke smell out before our next guest arrived, because we had a guest there and we didn't want our studio apartment to just smell like smoke. And that's just super annoying and super disrespectful. And it doesn't happen very often that you get a guest like this. Like I said, I have had 2 in the last 4 years, and we've had hundreds of guests come through our studio apartment. But that one was annoying, but that one was nowhere near the one that we just had a few months ago. It was disgusting what happened. At the start of the video, I talked about the crap you're gonna have to deal with. This one is literal crap. Like, the guy who stayed in our apartment, he like moved all the furniture, completely destroyed the kitchen. Like, I don't know if he just like dumped a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the ground or something, but just like red liquid like all over. I'm just praying it wasn't blood, but I don't think it was. But just destroyed. And then there was like food crumbs and food everywhere, and like broken glass from dishes that he broke and just like didn't clean up. He stayed there for like a week, and like he moved all the furniture, and then we went in the bathroom and like, oh, it's like, ugh, it is disgusting. This is after we had a cleaner go in and like do a ton of work. So she cleaned a ton, and then my wife and I went in, and it was like still disgusting, like blood, poop all over the toilet. And then like we started inspecting everything, and we took pictures, because you can go and complain to Airbnb and like they can reimburse you some money or charge your guests extra money for treating your property poorly. And like I started inspecting everything, and like there's poo on the carpet, like outside of the bathroom. There's like poo on the carpet even, and it's not like animal poop, like it's straight up human poo on the carpet. So it was like disgusting. This is like I said, it is so rare, and like it sucked to deal with, but at the same time, like we took all those pictures and sent them into Airbnb, and actually Airbnb sent us like $550 or something for all of the crap that like we had to deal with, and the extra cleaning and the broken dishes and like throwing away sheets and all sorts of stuff. So I mean, like, it still kind of worked out, but like you're just gonna have to deal with it, and it's so rare, but you do have to deal with it. All right, so all of that being said, even after dealing with like complaints and reviews and time consuming, and then just like the one every 2 years, like seriously, like one every 300 guests or something like that, we just have a really terrible one. I love Airbnb. I really do. And I think it's a great way to get into real estate investing. That's how I started out. Is my wife decided, hey, let's turn this studio apartment into an Airbnb. And like the cash flow was so great that it's really springboarded us to be able to buy 2 long-term rentals. And then we actually just partnered and bought a hotel that we're renovating right now. It's super fun. It's a big project, but it's an exciting project. And all of that kind of started through Airbnb. It gave me the confidence to go into a hospitality industry and be able to start a hotel, which is super fun, stressful, but super fun. So I do love Airbnb, and I would suggest it. Just now you know what you're getting yourself into. All right, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I am going to post a video in just a little bit of all of the positives of Airbnb, so we can kind of flip it and see the good side of it. But I do suggest it. Thank you. We'll catch you guys next time.